In this module, we'll talk about setting routines. But first, let's review how we got here. Collect, get stuff out of your head into as few places as possible. Process, quickly triage what stuff you need to do or can delete, delegate, file, and so on. Plan, figure out what's really important, your big rocks. Do, have super focused sprints and strategic rest. Review, ask yourself, how did you do? Simplify, reduce complexity in life and work. And today, we'll talk about setting routines. Why routines? That sounds so boring and repetitive, but I'll share why and then how we do them. A good routine surprisingly rests your mind. It gives you a break from thinking, what do I need to do next? Am I forgetting something? For example, you may have a basic bedtime routine for brushing your teeth, washing your face, flossing your teeth. During that, you can let your mind roam. Because you have a routine, that same principle can be applied to key work tasks. When you have a routine, you are proactive, which means less stressed out. When you have the right kinds of routines. A simple example. If every day you have a routine of looking over your desk and throwing out trash and filing an important document, you'll be less stressed out than the person who waits for months till their desk is covered in paper and then they need to spend hours to sort through it. You build equity in yourself. What do I mean by that? It's like putting $5 every week in your savings account. Over time, you build something that compounds in your favor, and the right routines will do the same for you. So, how do we start building a good routine? Here's an important note. It will improve over time. I sometimes adjust my routines every few weeks to add or remove things as I learn more about myself. And sometimes the routine stays steady for months or even years. So here are 3 components to building your routines. List tasks, both work and personal. Batch in context. And schedule daily and weekly routines. List tasks. This is a familiar exercise. As you review or make one, be sure to include work and personal stuff. Here are some ideas of things to add if you haven't already. How do you end the day? Currently, and maybe thoughts on how you would do so ideally. Do you have regular calls, or should you be having regular calls with people, peers? Do you have paperwork that is recurring and needs to be tackled regularly? How do you prepare to leave home in the morning? For example, I have a checklist right by the door of what I need as I leave. I have a checklist of things to do to get ready. Breakfast, coffee, for hygiene. What must happen before you go to bed? Include things you would like prepared for your next day. What activities help you stay proactive? I have routines, for example, to do my expense reports and my financial reports at the end of the week, with each step broken down clearly. What regular events happen you should prepare for? Are there conference calls, customer meetings, regular networking events? Each can have a step involved to prepare for those. Are there big things that can be broken into smaller, regular things over time? This can sometimes be a little harder and require some imagination, but can pay some big dividends. But break down something that could be, for example, health as a big project, and find the common task that can be made into a regular routine. Visualize this as if you were digging through a concrete wall with a teaspoon. Batch in context. Try to do short burst activities that are based on the type of work or where you're doing the work. One of the best ways to do both and come up with tasks is to think about your context. Think about it as a map of your day or week and where you're working. So let's try a few. Which of your tasks involve sitting in front of a computer? For example, I bunch browser research as such a task. So for example, if I have to do shopping on Amazon or research a restaurant, I bunch those together when I can. Which tasks need you to be on the phone? As I plan my week or even as the week progresses, I'll line up key calls to make and then just go through them all in a batch if I can. In fact, I have some days with regular calls on my calendar with key people, all lined up back to back so I can get them done. And I use a conference number so they just dial in and I stay on the line till the next one joins. Which tasks are paperwork at your desk or home and involve scanning or filing? Do you ever have paper buildup? I schedule routines to make sure I just chip away at scanning or filing the buildup maybe every 2 weeks. Because I know everything is in one inbox, I just work on how to process them. By the way, remember those modules on process? Check them out again if you need to. Which tasks are errands, such as you have to walk or drive to something? As an example, I have a Saturday morning routine that involves driving, but I try to take care of errands along that same route. Which leads me to the next slide. Schedule. Calendar times for daily or weekly or even monthly routines. In the beginning, keep them short and simple, typically no more than 3 things at a max, and this helps you to make them a habit. So how do you do that? Make sure that you list a physical action. This helps make it easier to actually do something. For example, call manager versus project overviews. What are 2 things for each week? So let's just go ahead and start to list out things and then pick 2 to do on the same day. Just pick 2. You may have more things and later we can put them on different days. But right now just pick 2 things to do at the same time every week. Take a moment to come up with those right now. What are 3 things you can do first thing in the office as a routine? Again, they don't have to be big, just simple actions that get you productive and ready for the day. And try not to include checking email as one of them. We want to make email something we do after we put really important routines in place. So, what's next? We'll be going on to our last module, and we'll try to review and put it all together. So until next time, get something done.